In the distant reaches of the galaxy, humanity had spread its wings, establishing thriving colonies on countless exoplanets. Each world teemed with life, innovation, and the spirit of humanity. But the peace was deceptive. Reports began filtering in from the farthest outposts, colonies under siege by a relentless alien armada known as the Zythar. Commander Jax Holloway, a seasoned strategist with a sharp mind and unyielding determination, received the news in a dimly lit command center aboard the Dauntless. The weight of the galaxy's fate rested heavily on his shoulders. Colonies on Elysium, Borealis, and Neptunus are gone, the intelligence officer, Lieutenant Grayson, reported, his face pale as he ran a hand through his tousled hair. Scouts say the Zythar are moving toward Callisto next. They want to crush us, Jax said, anger flaring in his chest. They think we're weak, divided. They don't know us. His jaw clenched as he pictured the innocent lives lost in the Zythar's onslaught, children, families, dreams shattered. The thought ignited a fierce resolve within him. Prepare a meeting with the officers, he commanded. We need a plan, and we need it now. As the urgency mounted, Jax gathered his senior officers in the war room. The holographic display flickered to life, showcasing the star maps of their territories and the Zythar's advancing fleet. We can't wait for reinforcements that may never come, Jax declared, his voice steady but tinged with fury. We'll strike first. We'll hit them hard and make them pay for every life they've taken. Captain Lyra, a sharp-eyed tactician, stepped forward. We need to cut off their supply lines. If we can disrupt their resources, we can slow their advance and buy time for the remaining colonies to evacuate. Jax nodded, feeling a surge of hope. Then we'll target their communications and logistics hubs. It's time the Zythar learn the cost of their arrogance. Days later, the Dauntless hung in the shadows of Callisto, cloaked and ready. The atmosphere buzzed with tension as Jax and his team of elite soldiers boarded the stealth shuttles. They were equipped with cutting-edge technology, weapons designed to pierce the heart of the enemy, and an unbreakable spirit, ready to face the horrors that awaited them. As they infiltrated the Zythar stronghold, the silence was oppressive. The soldiers moved like shadows through the alien corridors, their hearts pounding in unison. Each step felt like a countdown, building anticipation for the chaos that was about to unfold. Eyes sharp, Jax whispered, feeling the adrenaline coursing through his veins. He remembered the faces of the colonists who had been lost, their dreams extinguished by the Zythar's brutality. Every step was a promise to avenge them. Suddenly, the hallway was lit by the eerie glow of Zythar weapons, illuminating their sinewy forms. They moved with predatory grace, their golden eyes scanning the darkness, hungry for blood. Jax felt his breath catch in his throat. Clear, came the voice of Sergeant Dax, their muscle-bound demolition expert, as they reached the control room. The tension erupted as the Zythar soldiers opened fire, their weapons roaring like thunder. Plant the charges, Jax ordered, his voice barely audible over the chaos. We're not leaving until we've sent a message. The firefight exploded into a whirlwind of chaos. Jax ducked and rolled, narrowly avoiding a searing plasma bolt that singed the air beside him. The Zythar soldiers were relentless, their attacks coordinated and brutal. Jax's team returned fire, their weapons spitting death with precision. Hold the line, Jax shouted, firing his rifle at a Zythar soldier who was closing in. The creature staggered back, a look of shock on its elongated face before collapsing to the ground. Push forward, Dax yelled, his voice booming as he threw a grenade into a cluster of Zythar soldiers. The explosion sent them flying, their screams echoing through the chamber. Amid the chaos, Jax saw a glimpse of their leader, a towering Zythar adorned with metallic armor, barking orders and rallying his troops. Rage boiled within him. This creature was responsible for the destruction of innocent lives. Time to settle this, Jax muttered under his breath, determination igniting in his chest. After relentless fighting, the team finally reached the heart of the Zythar base, where a massive control panel pulsed with energy. Jax knew that destroying it would cripple their entire fleet. Cover me, he shouted, dashing toward the panel while his team laid down suppressive fire. He felt the heat of plasma blasts close to his skin, but he pushed through, hands flying over the console, as he initiated the self-destruct sequence. 30 seconds, came Dax's voice, urgency lacing every word. The Zythar soldiers began to regroup, realizing the threat. Jax's heart raced as he input the final codes, sweat dripping down his brow. The Zythar leader turned toward him, eyes blazing with fury. You think this will stop us, human? We are the harbingers of destruction. It raised its weapon, and for a moment time froze. In that heartbeat, Jax's resolve hardened. No, you're just the first of many who will pay. With a final beep, the countdown began. Jax dove back toward his team, adrenaline fueling his every move. They fought their way out, the base crumbling around them as they escaped. With the Zythar stronghold in ruins, Jax and his team returned to the Dauntless. Cheers erupted on the ship as the news spread. They had dealt a significant blow to the alien invaders. But it wasn't enough. The Zythar would return, seeking vengeance. Commander Holloway knew they had only begun to scratch the surface of what was needed. "We're not stopping here," he declared, addressing the crew. "We'll take the fight to them. Every last one of them will pay for what they've done. We will reclaim our colonies and show them that humanity will not be cowed." The crew erupted in shouts of approval, their spirits rekindled by the promise of revenge. Jax felt the adrenaline course through him once more. The Zythar may have thought they could break humanity, but they had awakened a sleeping giant. As the crew prepared for the next mission, Jax stood on the observation deck, looking out at the stars. He saw not just the light of distant worlds, but the flames of 1,000 colonies waiting for liberation. "Captain, we've received intelligence on their next staging area," Lieutenant Grayson reported, pulling Jax from his thoughts. "It's a heavily fortified planet, Vexor Prime. They're regrouping there, but we have an opportunity to strike before they're fully prepared." "Then we move quickly," Jax said, his voice steady. "We'll hit them hard and show them the cost of their cruelty. Prepare the fleet." Days later, the fleet arrived at Vexor Prime, a desolate planet swirling with violent storms and a toxic atmosphere. Jax could feel the tension as they prepared to descend through the tempestuous skies. "Deployment teams, get ready for a hot drop," Jax commanded, his heart racing. "We've trained for this. Remember, we're here to make them pay." As they plunged through the storm, the ship shuddered violently, turbulence rocking them like a leaf in a storm. But Jax's resolve was unwavering. They burst through the clouds, the surface of Vexor Prime revealing a sprawling Zythar encampment, bustling with activity. "Drop now," he shouted, and the shuttles released their troops, descending like avenging angels onto the battlefield below. The Marines hit the ground running, weapons ready, and chaos erupted. Explosions rocked the camp as Jax and his team charged into the fray. Zythar soldiers scrambled, their faces contorted in shock at the sudden onslaught. The air was thick with smoke and the acrid smell of burning metal. Jax moved with purpose, cutting through the enemy ranks. He spotted the Zythar leader, the same creature from the previous battle, and a surge of rage coursed through him. "Get to that command center," Jax ordered his team, and they rallied behind him, pushing deeper into enemy territory. The Zythar leader shouted in their guttural language, rallying its soldiers. Jax could see the fear and uncertainty flicker across their faces as they recognized the human threat. "Hold your ground," Jax bellowed, his voice cutting through the din. "This is for our fallen." Dax unleashed a barrage of grenades, explosions illuminating the dark skies as Zythar bodies flew through the air. Jax fought his way to the leader, his vision narrowed on the target. With a final push, he found himself face to face with the Zyth. "Our leader," a sneer on its alien face. "You are brave, human, but you will die for your folly." Jax's heart raced, the fury of every lost life propelling him forward. "No, you will die for your arrogance." They clashed in a violent flurry, plasma bolts ricocheting off walls as they fought. Jax felt the adrenaline surge through him, each punch and strike fueled by the memories of those who had fallen. The Zythar leader was strong, but Jax had the spirit of humanity behind him. With a final burst of strength, he disarmed the alien, sending its weapon clattering to the ground. Jax stood over the fallen creature, breathing heavily, fury still burning in his chest. "This is for every life you've taken." With that, he delivered a decisive blow, ending the threat once and for all. As the dust settled on Vexor Prime, Jax surveyed the aftermath. His team had fought valiantly, and the Zythar encampment lay in ruins. The cost had been high, but they had sent a clear message: humanity would not be extinguished. In returning to the Dauntless, Jax knew that this was just the beginning. They would continue to hunt the Zythar across the galaxy, reclaiming every planet and avenging every life lost. "Prepare for our next target," Jax declared to his crew, determination etched on his face. "We'll track down their remaining forces and make them pay for what they've done. We will fight for every colony, for every fallen friend." As the ship lifted off into the starry expanse, Jax felt a fire ignite within him. Humanity would rise from the ashes, stronger than ever. They were not just a species, they were a force to be reckoned with. Because when you threaten humanity, you awaken a force that cannot be extinguished. The stars would remember the day they made the wrong choice. And so began the reckoning, a saga of vengeance and unity that would echo across the stars, defining humanity's legacy as warriors of the cosmos.